So I was just thinking about the Bible and Christianity and religion in general, um, and just existentialism. It's Christmas is coming up. The seasons are changing. Everything, the leaves are falling and stuff, and that always gets me in a pretty existential headspace. You start thinking about death and life and what is death and all that stuff. And anyway, I was thinking about um, in the Bible, in Christianity, as a religion, as a theology, you have the Holy Trinity, which, from my understanding, is the belief that the Christian monotheological God, the one God, is comprised of three separate entities, which is God the Father, which is the being that created the world, and then God the Son, which would be Jesus, and then the Holy Spirit, which I don't even know. I don't even know what the fuck that is. But I was thinking about that, and I'm not wondering or even going to discuss whether or not that's a real thing. If you're a Christian, that's cool. If you're not, I don't. That's fine. Whatever. Like that's not my. I'm not even touching on that. It's more like I don't know, a philosophical thing, because I always think that there's stuff in the Bible or in Christianity or in any religion that is reflective of our reality, like the things that we know and can see and do experience, I mean, of course, that's what religion is, right? It's got to be reflective of life because it exists to explain life and kind of compartmentalize aspects of life and stuff, for people. But I was thinking that the Trinity was interesting, specifically, and somebody probably smarter and more eloquent than me has probably already thought of this. But this is my YouTube channel, so fuck you. Um, that that man himself as a being kind of also exists as a Trinity, insofar as there is the physical man, like obviously the physical body, and then the metaphysical, because you have what exists in the mind that is in a state of existence and non-existence simultaneously, because you got your thoughts, your beliefs, your hopes, your dreams, your loves, your hates, all that good stuff. Even the most mundane thoughts you have, like about whether or not what you're going to eat for lunch, or whether you should take a shit. Even all of those things, I mean, they exist very clearly and very real in your mind, but they don't exist anywhere else, and they don't like de facto exist in the world, but they are, they're real because it's you experience them. Everything I'm saying right now is a thought in my head first, then becomes physical, gets breathed into the world as a physical reality by my mouth. You know what I mean? Like so you got the metaphysical man, which is what exists in the mind, and then the physical man, which is your body, and then you would have the spirit, which is what would, like, the soul, which is what would link those two things together, because obviously something does. And I feel like that's what religion's really all about, is what connects the unreality of the mind to the physical reality of the body and the world outside of it. I feel like that's what religion's all about. So then really man exists in himself as a trinity, and I feel like the I don't want to say that. I want to say this in a way that I want to say this in a way that doesn't sound dismissive or critical of Christianity. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to be like a fucking Reddit atheist asshole. But the authors of the Bible, the progenitors of Christianity, I feel like set up the Trinity of God as a reflection of the Trinity that man is. Like, in the Bible, obviously, it's super famous. They say that God made man in his image, and man is himself a trinity. So I don't know. I was just something I was thinking about that I thought was interesting. Just thought was a neat thought. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if you want to be more literally theological about it, you could argue that that is just man. That is just God making man in his image, that God himself created man as a trinity to reflect the trinity that God is. Because there was always going to be a Jesus or whatever, because in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, which I think is... Anyway, I'm fucking rambling. But that was just a fun little thought that I had, that existentially you could argue that man himself is a trinity, and that Christianity and the Bible has God as a trinity, and I just think that's a fun, if nothing else, a fun anthropological thing to think about, that the people who wrote out that mythos, I don't know, reflected that in their work. I just think that's, if nothing else, is an interesting credit to the mindfulness of the people who write these texts, the Bible and things like that. And, other religions too, non-Abrahamic religions, there's a real beautiful sort of mindfulness and worldfulness of the people who write those things, and they really are just amazing. And I feel like it speaks, if nothing else, to the legitimacy of what they're writing. Not that like those religions are necessarily real, but like that there's certainly a validity to the philosophical elements of those texts, because I feel like we're in an age now where people are very dismissive of religion, and I think that's corny. I don't think you should be like that. There's a lot, if not, literally religious meaning, there's a lot of meaning to be taken from these things, regardless of whether or not you believe in any religion. I like reading religious texts of, all sorts of religions, because there's a lot you can get from it. And that was like a thing that I feel like I just got, from Christianity. So that's neat. I don't know. Just sharing it. Just speaking my mind. Just speaking my fucking mind. Okay, cool. Have a good one.